Like this, I was working on this and I got it wrong and I had to like restart doing it.
Oh yeah, so like I know how to like identify like what the longest chain is, but yeah, like you said, like I don't know like what it would matter if I counted left to right or right to left.
Yeah.
Because the numbers have to be the smallest. We will do some practice right now, and I will go and look at the practice exams that I have, and I will see which one has a good example that we can work on. So nomenclature, fun fact or unfun fact, is basically a set of rules that people came up with so that everything would have the same name. Because before they did that, if you invented a compound in England, there's a good chance that it would have a different name in Germany, even if it was the same thing. So we still have some of that left over from back then, but we've done a better job of getting it fixed. Fun fact: if you get to join the IUPAC society, every 3 years you get to go to some place like, say, Hawaii or the Bahamas or something, and you just spend a week getting drunk and then answering questions about what stuff should be named. That's it. You just go get.
Fun.
I'm not a member of IUPAC. I have no international cred, so they very rarely invite us teaching professionals. So, okay. So, do you want to start with the drawing from the name, or do you want to give the structure and then work on the name?
It doesn't matter. I feel like, yeah.
Let's try and do. Let's try and do. I think they said not to do the alcohol ones because you guys haven't learned them.
There's another person here.
Is there?
Skylar.
Skylar.
Hi, Skylar.
Hi, Skylar.
Hello, Skylar.
Gwen, you're the only one who doesn't say hi. Rude.
I did say hi.
I didn't
Communist.
hear you.
You said hi, Skylar.
Okay, so why don't you guys try C
Okay.
and come up with a name? I'll give you guys 30 seconds. I'm gonna go grab a drink while you're doing that.
You have to come up with a name. Can I do any name?
Oh, well, the correct name ideally, but you do you. For what's on the number C. So.
Ooh, I think I'm getting this. Hold on.
Almost
I
reach for a
see
beer, but I'll stick
lines.
with the Coke for now.
4, 5, 6.
Chem is literally fake.
Perfect.
I see lines right now and they want me to name it.
Yep.
Perpendicular line. That's the name I give it.
I'm transferring to ASU, guys.
What?
Yeah.
Why do you
Bad
worship
decision.
the devil?
I don't want to be up here anymore. It's too cold for me.
Where are you from originally?
Glendale.
That's fair.
Yeah. It's just they have a forensic science program at ASU,
Oh.
and that's what I want to do. And yeah, and I found out that I have to take OChem too.
It's a dog.
This is fine.
That's the meme.
Oh my god, it's the burning dog
It is.
from the meme.
This is what you buy when you have a lot of extra money and nothing to spend it on.
I want a squishmallow.
Harry, if there's two side chains, but they're both just like if it's just like a methyl, not a what is it? Yeah, it's just like a methyl side chain. Would it matter where the high number or the low number would be?
Yes, it does. So I will show you. So basically, this should be our longest chain, right? It doesn't matter which one of those but that should be our longest chain right there, right?
Oh, okay. Okay.
Maybe yes.
Yeah, I kept going to the right instead of down.
Well, you could have gone to the right. That's fine. If you went to the right or down, that's the same thing. But your longest chain should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 carbons. Did you guys get that?
Yeah.
So your base name is going to be hexane, right? So if you went from left to right like this, you would have a methyl at 3 and at 6. So you would have 3,6 dimethyl.
That's it?
Nope. That's if you went from left to right.
Gotcha.
If you go from right to left, you have a methyl at 2 and at 5. So which numbers are lower?
2 and 5.
2 and
Yep.
5.
So you go 2, 5. If everything else is the same, meaning you guys just have the same functional group, it doesn't. It's just which one gives you the lowest numbers. Once you start getting specific functional groups, then they have to determine what order you go in.
Okay.
Does that make sense there? Okay.
Sorry, my roommates are loud. You can hear them.
Well, if you need help transitioning to ASU, I know they're professors, so if you have someone, let me know.
Yeah, I'm just struggling with scholarships because I have the lumberjack scholarship up here, and they told me that it wouldn't transfer, so now I have to apply to a bunch of scholarships down there.
Yeah, unfortunately, that is a reality of life.
Yeah.
But if you need help, just let me know.
Okay.
All right, so let's do E. You guys have done alkyl halides, right?
I think.
I don't even know. I
With
think so.
halogens, chlorine, bromine, iodine.
Oh yeah, we've done those.
Yeah.
Okay, that's when it has an alkane and a halogen, it's an alkyl halide. That's what the compound is called. So you guys need to start making flashcards, and I would recommend the sooner the better of all of your functional groups or just weird things. So if it's a carbon compound with the halogen, it's called an alkyl halide.
I made them.
Because this kind of stuff is the kind of stuff that happens will pop up on your MCAT or wait, how many of you are doing medical school or dental school? Yeah. These are the type of questions that will pop up.
Yeah.
Ellie, how's it going?
I think you're muted.
I was gonna give her how long till she would notice that.
I'm struggling. 'Cause
Okay.
I don't know anything.
Okay. Where did she go wrong? Besides signing up for organic.
I think that was it. Just that.
You
I
should
don't-
start watching the videos I have, and if you want me to make you videos for Sandler's class, send me the PowerPoints. Because I have Duis's stuff and I can make PowerPoints off of her things, but
I tried to switch into Deuce's class, but
is it too late?
There might be available seats now.
what?
There might be available seats now because I bet some people have dropped.
Well, I'm on the wait list.
No, if no one's dropped OChem yet, I'm surprised.
Nobody, because I checked the other day.
I literally think about it every day, but
I know, me too. I'm like, should I just do it another time?
If you are to this point and you don't know anything, I would consider dropping the class because it's just going to get worse. The first third of the class is the toughest conceptually, meaning it's got the toughest in terms of things like molecular orbital theory and stuff like that. Once you get past that and you get into reactions, it's just a memorization game. So if you're good at memorization, then you can do fine.
Yeah, because this stuff I get. Like, I'm glad it's like open note, but like I get this.
Mm-hmm.
And like the IR is okay, but I feel like it's like orbitals and all of that. That's a bit like confusing to me. But, okay. What? Oh, so probably.
So this should be 2-iodo 4-methylpentane. The reason for that is that the halogen takes priority over other methyl groups. So we were going to number it so that we give the halogen the lower number, right? Because if we went the other way, it would be 4-iodo 2-methyl, right? The numbers would still be the same. And this is the idea where you give priority to whatever.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. So you did right to left.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah.
So you guys haven't talked about alcohols because I saw there on the practice quiz it said don't do the one with alcohols. Looking at F, just knowing nothing else, would you count from left to right or right to left?
Right to left.
Right to left, because that OH is going to end up being your biggest functional group, right? So anytime you get special functional groups, those take priority in numbering.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you have access to my YouTube channel, I have posted the link in those emails. I do have videos for all of this stuff, so you can watch them again with everything. And I try to
Is
break down.
your YouTube channel just your name?
I have no idea. I'll get the link.
The first
Okay.
time I just searched Terry Villarreal.
Yeah.
And
You could probably find it that way, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Came up.
Harry, you're gonna put one up for me.
Well, you have to send me stuff from Sandler, though.
You just label it.
I did. I sent it to you
Okay.
for the exam.
Yes, I will post one for you on how to work through his practice exam.
All right. Will you email me back later?
I will. Did you send it to Gmail or to my NAU?
Oh wait, I think I might have done your.
I still have NAU for a little bit, so.
Skylar, it's like on the side chain. It's a
Let me see who
methyl.
I sent. What I
Just
did.
like,
I
if it
sent
makes sense,
it.
like if there's like
Yeah,
one,
your
I got it.
NAU one.
I have it.
that makes sense. But if it were to be like 1 carbon, 2 carbon, it would be ethyl. So like if you're looking at the side chains, like on E, the side chain that's on the left, since it's just 1 carbon branching off, it's methyl. If that makes sense. I don't know. Maybe Terry can explain it better.
Terry,
So,
when you
If
put
you
up the
if you
thing-
look at, what was that?
Sorry.
Ellie, what was your question?
My question is, will you just email me when you put up the thing? So I'm gonna go.
Yep. It was nice seeing you.
You too. Bye.
Later. You miss your pride and joy already, don't you?
Well, we're not in the same chem class this year, so I can't really help her because I don't know like what they're learning.
They're learning a lot more difficult stuff. So the idea is, Skylar, when you are trying to find the longest straight chain, you just keep going until you're gonna. So basically, the idea is, and I'm gonna go to a new screen. I'm gonna go to a blank screen real quick, and this might help. So the idea is, if you have a giant structure, you essentially have to think about this in terms of a puzzle. You pick a corner. I don't know where that happens sometimes, but you pick an end, and then you just go and count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That red path has 5. And then you repeat it again and go 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. And then you just do it again and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And you just keep doing that until you get to the longest chain, whatever that may be. Once you figure out what that largest chain is, that is your backbone of your molecule. So if I was to come in here then and imagine this is just what I'm doing, this right here is my longest chain that I'm circling in blue. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is heptane. So now you then come in and say, what about the carbons that aren't part of that giant chain? And it's going to be these two. So if you have 2 carbons coming off that aren't part of the giant chain, that's an ethyl. If it was 1, it would be methyl. 3 would be not butyl, propyl. Then 4 would be butyl. 5 would be pentyl and stuff. Does that make sense, Skylar? Okay, cool. And so remember, if I answer a question and you're just like, this makes no sense, just always feel free to stop me. So, okay. Does that make sense for you guys on nomenclature? Do you guys feel a little bit better about that?
Yes.
Is there anything that is throwing you in terms of like, I'm just still confused about nomenclature?
I'm trying to like look through my notes to see if there's anything. Oh, so if they're is like a chain, and then you have like two what are they called? Side chains branching off, but they're like both separate but on the same thing.
Okay, I'll draw an example, and I think I know what you're talking about. So say you have something like this.
Yeah.
Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it would be 1, 2, 3, 4. So this would be 4, 4 dimethyl. So you say 4 for this methyl, 4 for this methyl. So you always include a number.
Okay.
For that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and it's dimethyl because there's 2.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Other questions? Feel free to dig deep. My PhD is in organic, so organic is my best chemistry.
Why? No, I'm putting my camera on. It's fine.
This might be kind of like a dumb question, but an ethyl group is what comes off of methyl, right?
So if you have one like this CH3, this is a methyl. If you have 1, 2, this is an ethyl. If you have 1, 2, 3, this is propyl. If you have 4, this is butyl. And then if you have 5, this is where they go back to 3, 4, 5. This is where they go back to like the normal pentyl. Does that make sense, Morgan? I think that's who asked that.
Yeah, okay. So it's just the number of like
Carbons.
never mind. I don't know what I'm talking about. But yeah, what you said makes sense.
Yep.
How likely will it be that we'll have like anything above that? Because I feel like at that point, like it's just it's, you know what I mean? If that makes sense. Like how often would we have something that would be like above pentyl or above butyl even?
So how likely are you to need to know those above butyl?
Yeah, because like
you should probably know 1 through 10.
That's what she said too, but I feel like is there really things where there's like a side chain that branches off that's like 10?
But it's not the side chains. You could also have a backbone that has 10, and you need to know that a backbone, right, is dec.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So as long as it doesn't really matter, right, how many carbons you have, because how many carbons are in this side chain right here? There's 3 carbons in there, right? Mm-hmm. So since this is a side chain, we would just call this a propyl, right?
Okay.
But now if I had 1, 2, 3, if that was my largest chain, what is this called? Prop.
Still?
Ane. Yep. So the first letters are the same regardless of its A. If you end in A and E, that is the main chain. If you end in YL, that is the side chain.
Gotcha.
Oh. See, she doesn't tell us these things.
Or maybe you're just not paying attention.
No, Meg. I'm pretty sure I'm paying attention.
Yeah, they'll be like, it's like the last 20 minutes, I'll just be like, what's going on? Sometimes I can't, like, I don't know. I feel like she loses me sometimes.
I think Ellie's going to try to bribe me.
Oh my God.
Her bribes are awful, though, so she won't be successful. So side chains, Skylar, side chains are carbons that aren't part of your main chain, right? They're not part of your longest chain. Substituents, side chains can be substituents, but they can also be things like halogens or alcohols or amines and stuff like that. Does that make sense? Okay. Yeah. So anything that is not part of the main chain, you can consider a substituent. That is like the catch-all term, right? And then when you say like alkyl side chain or a alcohol or whatever, then those are specific substituents.
Could we review? I mean, if like
What would you like? Give me a topic and I'll review it. And if it's on that practice exam, I'll go through the problems.
Let me see.
I have 4 practice exams there, so.
Could we do IR and then like drawing compounds?
Yeah, so we'll come back to this because so you mean like this one where you're given the name. I have 4 practice exams from Dr. Dewis. This is one of them.
Is this A?
I have no idea. I can tell you real quick though.
Yeah, so
I think that's A.
Is this A? I will scroll up to the top.
Draw an ester, draw an amine.
Practice exam 1, September 2017.
Yeah.
Is this it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
So
it's like
just a heads up, I don't have the license for Zoom anymore because of, I'm no longer a member of NAU and my school doesn't use Zoom, we use Teams. So in like 5 minutes, I'm gonna have to close this and reopen it again. But that way you can take a small break and get a drink. So when I've been doing these every Thursday, by the way, I meet every Thursday. So if you guys want to come, I'm also meeting tomorrow too. Every Thursday at this time, I go through these PowerPoints that she provides, and then I record them and post them on YouTube. So you can look at YouTube because I've gone through all of her PowerPoints. Okay, so periodic table. My favorite thing from last year, one of the test questions I had was which one of these has like it was a rank the whatever by periodic trends. I gave plutonium, and a kid accused me of making it up.
I remember that.
I think I complained to someone. It might have been Gwen I complained to about that because I was very sad. Okay. Number 1. Do you need to know how to do this? Yep. So 3 unknown compounds with the formula C4H8O2, C5H10O, and C6H12, which have similar masses, have relative boiling points of A greater than B greater than C. The IR spectrum for each is provided. Draw a reasonable structure for each of the 3 unknown compounds. Show your work on interpreting the spectra for partial credit. So the important thing to know is, do you guys know what IR is? Do you have any idea, or is this just something that you were just like trying to do and whatever happens, happens?
Isn't it the rate a molecule reacts when light hits it or something like that?
It's close. That's not a bad definition. Essentially what it is that IR, it's infrared light, right? So if you think about, we have our visible spectrum. To the left is UV, which is what gives you like cancer and tans your skin. To the right is infrared, which is what you use in remotes. So your bonds are held together by electrons. And so when you hit them with photons from the IR, they don't break, but they will kind of excite. Like they'll do this, they'll do this, they'll do this, they'll do something. And so based on how they react, when we hit them with IR light, we can predict what they are. So it tells us functional groups. That's what IR is useful for. It tells you what type of bond you have. Is it a carbon double bonded to oxygen? Is it an sp3 carbon hydrogen? Is it sp2 carbon hydrogen? That's all it's useful for. So don't think that it's anything more than that. It just tells you what functional groups are there. It tells you what type of bonds are there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So real quick, have you guys done, what's it called? Have you guys done degrees of unsaturation? I don't know if that's something you need to know. Okay. So degrees of unsaturation essentially tells you how many double bonds or rings are in your molecule. And so they're useful when you do them, right? So the degrees of unsaturation formula, which is something you should have and written down, is 2 times the number of carbons minus the number of hydrogens plus 2 minus the number of halogens. And then I believe It's nitrogen, and I always forget this. This is the one I always forget because I don't use this one. And I think it's double checking, and we add. So 2 times carbon minus hydrogen plus 2 minus the number of halogens plus the number of nitrogens all divided by 2. So if you put this into your formula, it is going to tell you how many double bonds there are and how many rings there are when you add them up. All right. So for example, if we did C6H12, it would be 2 times 6 because it's the number of carbons, right? Minus 12 plus 2 minus 0 plus 0 because there are no halogens and no nitrogens, all divided by 2. 2 times 6 is 12 minus 12 plus 2 is 2. So I get 2 divided by 2 equals 1, right? So basically now that tells me that this formula C6H12 is either a ring or it's a chain with a double bond in it. And that's what the degrees of unsaturation tell me. Does that make sense? So now when I look at my formula, I need to know that my compound is going to have either be a ring, cyclohexane, or it's going to have a double bond in it. And that's what the degrees of unsaturation tells you. It tells you how many double bonds or whatever, pi bonds, and then how many rings. All right, so now when you're looking at R, it's a very easy way to eliminate stuff. So okay, well, I solved the formula, so I know which one is which. But we will come back and I will show you how to solve it. So we'll take a quick 2-minute break, go to the bathroom, grab a drink, and then I'll reopen this, and then I will walk you through on how to solve this. Does that make sense? All right, I'll see you guys back in a couple minutes.